Well, we are back at it again on the Chevette project here. Not quite as much has changed since my last video. I got the exhaust pretty far in terms of everything. I built a mounting bracket. I think I covered that in the last video. I'm not sure or not. If I did, my bad. We got the exhaust to the point where it's right here. I am going to rotate it a little bit more towards the center. Right now it's kind of aiming towards the section of the body to really like block it out. But the nice part is that I don't have to do the oval exhaust like I had thought. The 3-inch actually sits high enough that it'll clear, that I don't have to worry about it. Aside from the wheels and tires, the exhaust pipe will be the lowest. One of my things that I'm going to work on is I bought this piping right here. I don't know why I'm zoomed in so far. I bought some piping right here, and like I said in my last video, I was thinking about doing a merge into the exhaust here. So instead of doing like a hood dump or something crazy, I'm gonna actually just merge it back into the exhaust here. Initially, I turned this so it's facing directly into this, but I felt being so close that just fitting it would just really be harsh. So I bought this pipe right here, and it's gonna basically fit right here. I'm gonna smooth out the or contour this section of the pipe so it fits really nice here, and that's kind of where it's gonna sit. I think that that'll be a really good spot for it. And worst case scenario is I have a second pipe that I can kind of cut up as a rough draft piece and go from there. Now another thing that I've decided to do, I said in my last video I'm going to repurpose this. So this is one of the Mac valves off of the original, off of the Blazer. And I don't know why I said original, but it's off of the Blazer. And there's different configurations you can do with these. Right now I think this is going to be one that we're going to do, and I was thinking about where I'm going to mount this at. Initially I took the Motion Raceworks dual Mac valve bracket. They'll probably be mad if they see this video, and I cut it up, and I was going to use that as my original mounting bracket. Then I got bored, as we all do, and I googled brackets for boost solenoid stuff, and I found this on Amazon for like 16 bucks. So it's a little solid bracket, and this Mac valve is just going to kind of sit right here, and it has rubber isolators. So I'm just going to go find some bolts that I can mount on the back of here that'll go through, because the idea will be to take out the grill here, drill some holes, move the camera right here, and mount the Mac valve right here. I think this is a good spot for it. It's very out of the way of everything. I don't have to drape any long lines except for from here to there. So I think that that will be a very beneficial place for it. So my goal is to just mount that right up in here, and then I can run, I did drill and tap a hole in the turbo right here for this, because initially when I was kind of routing everything, I felt if I did it right over here on the front, I'd have some issues with routing, tubing or something possibly. So I could mount the Mac valve over here on this section, and again tucked out of the way, but then I have to route tubing that way, and then I gotta find tubing to go over to the wastegate. I figure mounting it under here on the core support in this little spot right here is gonna be ideal. So that is my project today. I am going to get the grill off, and then I'm going to kind of mark out some spots for holes and kind of just go from there. Alright, as you can see behind me, the grill is off. I took the rubber isolators off of that plate. I grabbed my silver marker. Now I can't find my metal plate. Oh, there it is. So I've got the plate kind of mounted right here. I already marked the holes with my silver marker. So that way those are the holes where I'm going to drill at. And then from there, I'm going to go see if I can find some other bolts that'll fit on the back of this that aren't too crazy long. If not, I'm gonna have to make a run to the parts store, which is pretty normal. So, well, as all things, I don't have the right bolt, which is normal. You know, whenever you look, you never have the right bolt, you never have the right length bolt, you never even have the right pitch sometimes. But anyways, so I'm gonna run to the store. I'm gonna grab what I feel is going to work. I'm going to take my little Mac valve with me. I have it already kind of set up on that plate, so it'll mount kind of like this. It's supposed to be for a 4-port, so there's actually supposed to be 2 more sets of holes that are right up here. Sorry, my big fat finger's in the way. So a hole right there and a hole right there for mounting or something like that. But this is a 3-port setup. but that's how it's gonna basically sit. It has this hole right here. I'm not quite sure what it's for, but I'm just gonna run my wires through it, and then run them this way, or I might just take them off and then run them normal. The idea will be, once it's mounted, I can run the wiring along with this loom that's actually already here. That's original. Started working on my feed line the other day. I got some fittings in here. So got this little extension, and then I'm running PTFE line hose. It's -8, so it's already ran down over here. Obviously, I'm going to adjust it as I need to. The rest of the hose is just kind of sitting there. I'm waiting on my fuel tank to get back from my buddy who's welding up the bungs on it. I've got 2 -10s going to the bottom side, like I've said previously. I'm going to put a plug on one as a drain, and then I'm going to put the other one as a feed line. The other issue that I have is I don't know where I'm going to mount my fuel pump or my fuel filters, if I can mount them all together like I have on the Blazer over here, or if I've got to kind of like string them along a little bit past each other. So haven't really figured that one out yet. So that project, I'm just waiting on all the fittings to show up to be able to start on that. And then I'm going to 3D print. I have an idea in my head, hopefully I can make a reality, of how I'm going to, of a bracket that I'm going to use to mount the 2 hose lines next to each other, and use the original like mounting like brackets that are underneath the Chevette that run along the driver's side together. So I've come back, I have new bolts. They're just Phillips head screws. To be honest, that's what works. They're a little long, but I got spacers and washers and lock washers and all the slack I can find to pick up on it. One problem that I came across is the original T setup that I had. I don't know why I try to say it like I have a lisp like Mike Tyson. The original T setup I had, unfortunately, does not work. It runs into the air inlet that I 3D printed for the turbo, which sucks. So I had to take that apart, and I had to kind of redo everything. So it looks a little uglier than I wanted. I mean, it still looks ugly, but it looks a little bit worse. But it's mounted up, so here I even ran the lines already. So you've got your lines with the T going to the turbo, T to here, from the Mac valve to the T, going to the gate. You got one going from the gate straight down back to the Mac valve. So that's how that's set up. Looks a little meh, but at the end of the day, there's things that you have to do in terms of compromisation, but I've got that done. The next thing is I'm going to take this pipe that I have so nicely started to mark off and shaving, and we are going to figure out how much I need to take off in order to get this to go on. And then I also need to loosen up the bracket down there so I can rotate the wastegate, so I can orientate it better to get this set up. So yeah, I'm gonna probably just do a lot of the work off camera, and then I'll come back to it when I'm done, and we'll just go from there. I did some work off camera. I also went to Harbor Freight and I bought some things, and some things showed up while I was gone in my absence. One of them being new taillight housings. So on the Blazer over here, these are actually the originals. So it's cracked right there. Put some tape on it. I mean, I could just live with it. It's not that bad, but I think just having the nice darker ones will fit the look of the Blazer in all of its glory. That I did work off camera. I messed up that first pipe already. Thank goodness I bought 2. And after some work, I have the finished product here. So this is how it turned out. I like it. It looks good. One of the sad parts is that this metal right here was a lot thinner than this, so I was burning holes in this a little bit. So I had to make a few passes on a few things, and it sucked. I had to stack it. I also did grind it down just a little bit to find any of the holes, because I did stack the welds. So I just want to make sure at least I'm burning through it nice. This turned out really well. No problems here at all, except for this little spot right there. But that's it. That's all. One of the other downsides is I tacked a bunch of spots right here to get it into place, And then I took the whole pipe off, welded it on the bench over there. Probably a bad idea with that vinyl, but it's okay. It'd be all right. That little piece of floor vinyl that just is there. But one of the downsides is as soon as I welded it, just like anything metal, kind of like heats up and kind of moves a little bit. So this kind of started flexing this way a little. So I've got everything mounted fine. This had to get bolted down first, but it's in there, it's sturdy. There was no light at all anywhere around it, so we're fine there. Boom, bada bing, got some stuff done. So I did get fuel fittings in today. Unfortunately, they sent me regular and not PTFE fittings. I have PTFE hose because my goal is to run flex fuel on the Chevette. Which reminds me, I need to buy a flex fuel sensor. So that'll be in my things to do. But I got that done. Next thing, I've got to send those back to get the new ones. But outside of that, just those are the projects that I wanted to get done today. I'm very pleased with kind of how everything turned out. It looks really good. I think one of my favorite things is if you look at it from this way, minus my bolt plate or bolt bowl, is it looks pretty cool. That's all I've really got going on. I'm going to do the fuel system next, and then after that, I have no clue. I might just take the rest of the year off and just go racing. So, and leave the building to the winter's time. Anywho's what's I'm done. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I was able to post one faster than the last one from the one before. Hopefully all that stuff comes back and we can, I can start rolling with more and more footage here of my progress. As always, do the normals, the likes, the comments, and the subscribing. I appreciate it, and you can share my video with other people who may or may not find this interesting. Y'all have a good weekend. Appreciate it.